VFW and American Legion will present colors. Color guard, present colors.
Color guard. Mark time. Detail, halt. Left face. Color guard. Post colors. Present arms. Order, arms.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Present arms.
Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, arms.
And please, a moment of silence for those of us that didn't come home. They'll be in our hearts and memories forever. Thank you.
Color guard. Port arms. Right face. Forward march. Your left. Your left. Your left. Right. Left. Detail, halt.
Please be seated. This time I'd like to introduce Dan McLaughlin, the Mayor of the Village of Orland Park, and the man responsible for this evening.
Thanks, Tom. You know, Tom put this dinner together, and I'd like to give him a round of applause for a great job he did. He was there coordinating and putting this together, but the Veterans Commission, which a lot of the members of the Veterans Commission are here today, do an outstanding job providing veterans events and functions all through the year. So before I say a few words, I just want to introduce a couple of the village board that's with me tonight. I know Trustee Fenton is here. Where's Kathy? Kathy Fenton's in the back. Trustee Dan Calandrello. And the village clerk, John Mahalik. And John happens to have a brand new Marine in his family, so we're proud of that too. I say brand new, he's actually been, what, a year already? Yeah. Well, I appreciate everybody coming tonight. And I know you didn't come to hear me. So I will be as short as I can, but I do want to say a couple things. You know, when I was growing up, we heard the stories around our house of my grandfather, who was an ambulance driver in France in World War I. My father and his twin brother were bomber pilots. His other brother was a Marine, and another uncle on the other side of the family were Marines, all in World War II. So we heard all the stories. Well, maybe we didn't hear all the stories, but we heard stories and grew up respecting all the veterans and the sacrifice they made. So that's how I grew up. I happened to be getting out of high school right around the time President Nixon called an end to the Vietnam War. I think I was the last class to actually have a lottery number. But there was a couple family members, family friends that were over in Vietnam, and they also came back with stories. And I tell you, that people like me that didn't actually serve have a tremendous amount of respect for all of you that did. Can't thank you enough, and we in the village really enjoy the opportunities to have events like this, just to have an opportunity to say thanks for all your service. So if we could, now I know a lot of people here are veterans, but can I just ask every veteran that's here to just stand up and be recognized for a minute? We'd really like to thank you once again for your service. I would say that tonight's exciting for a lot of us, like myself, growing up as a Notre Dame fan, and having that kind of respect for veterans. We asked, I think, one of the premier speakers that can touch on both football as well as Vietnam experience, and in Rocky Bleier. We're very excited to have him up here tonight, and know that he's a great motivational speaker. Actually heard him at a convention, trade show for association. Great speaker on a motivational basis to business people. So, assuming that this is for veterans, there's going to be a little more touch on the Vietnam experience. But we're just very excited to have you up here tonight, Rocky. I'd like to introduce Rocky Bleier.
For that introduction, and Tom, thank you for inviting me, along with the commission, to be able to be here this evening, to share this evening with fellow veterans. And I want to thank each and every one of you for your service to our country and sacrifices that you made, and families that supported us through that period of time. First of all, let me just, coming from Pittsburgh, extend my congratulations to all you fans. I would be remiss if I didn't say that. I don't care whether or not you're a Cubs fan. You know, some Chicago White Sox fans, all right, come on, you can just come on over and at least extend a congratulations to those long-suffering Cub fans for what they have done. But I don't care whether you're a baseball fan or not, it was an exciting series. I mean, every game was an exciting series, and to be able to come back and do what they have done was excellent. It was fun to watch. A little late for me at times, especially when they go extra innings. But the interesting thing, or at least one of the interesting statistics that a friend of mine just pointed out, is that in this game, both teams scored 27 runs. So when you talk about equality in play, we couldn't have asked for a better series. But anyway, the important thing is Cubs did it, to get the monkey off their back, and that's the important thing. Just to give you a little background, questions that will be asked, and we're going to do a little question and answer as well. So I live in Pittsburgh, and I've stayed in Pittsburgh. I'm from Wisconsin. My wife's from Pittsburgh, so I stayed there. That's all you need to know. Anyway, just to begin with, as I look over and I was thinking, what am I going to talk about tonight, especially to this group specifically, was I wanted to make a reference at least to a book I recently read. And the book was River Horse, the name of the book. And the author, William Least Heat Moon, wrote this, to paraphrase him, is that our physical components change every 7 years, so that our brains continuously pass memories off onto a complete stranger. Who we have been is just now a fellow ghostly traveler. If memory were total and complete, perhaps we would be one person from start to finish. But forgetfulness cuts us off from who we have been, so that hourly we are reborn. Now, I tell you that in the context, as I'm standing up here and looking out over here, I am, like a lot of you, are now in my 8th decade of creating memories. And although I may not be the same person that I was when I was walking in the rice paddies in Vietnam, or the last time that I wore a uniform in the National Football League, but the highlights of my life, much like the highlights of each and every one of our lives, are forever etched in our minds. I've come to learn it's not that I have forgotten who I am specifically, but it's usually the people that I talk to who has forgotten who I am. And how I single-handedly won those 4 Super Bowls. But it reminds me, when I get a chance to talk to veterans, the experiences that we've had, and especially our Vietnam veterans, is that we really can't forget. And we really have to remember what had taken place, the experiences that we had, how we were welcomed home, and the impact that it made on a whole generation that we had survived and came back. And so those memories are very important, as well as the stories that go with them. What I've come to learn is that because of our experience in coming back, we repressed feelings, we came back to live and to work and to marry. But we're reluctant at times to talk about that experience.